What's up everybody? My name is Fabio. How are you all doing today? I hope that whoever's watching this, whenever you're watching this, I hope you're having a great day today. And today in this video, I'm gonna be giving you a bunch of different tips and tricks for beginners that I feel that are very, very important if you're just starting out riding a one wheel, you don't know much about it. And you know, I'm mostly a trail rider, as you can see right here. Beautiful views, awesome trails, and yeah, I'm gonna be giving you some tips for riding trails as well, if that's something that you're really into, because I know that for me nothing beats a good trail. So yeah, let's just jump into it. Yes, safety, man. Safety is key. Trust me on that one. I've taken so many falls in my one wheel, and this helmet right here and these wrist guards are life-saving. You know, in matter of fact, these wrist guards are my third pair. That's how hardcore I ride around here, and how hardcore some falls are. That I have one of them, they're pretty much this part just didn't exist. Another one actually broke one time for, you know, impact after impact after impact, fall after fall after fall, you know. But you know, that's my personal riding style, because I do trails all the time and I am constantly pushing how hard I can ride with my one wheel, and even more and more difficult trails, and you know, some very hardcore paths around here that, you know, I'm gonna show you a couple of them, maybe on this video, maybe on another one. But yeah, man, trust me, helmets, please, I beg you, that always wear a helmet, always wear wrist guards. There's also knee and elbow pads, very important as well. You know, I have them and I use them a lot when I try new things. You know, when I'm practicing new and more dangerous tricks and trails, the first times, I always wear every safety gear that I have. You know, helmet, wrists, knees, elbows. All very important, because you don't want to fall really badly, especially in the first year. I feel that the first year, that's why I'm doing this mostly for beginners, because on the first year of one wheel, that's when most people put their one wheels aside, because they take a huge fall and, you know, they're like, okay, yeah, this sport's trying to kill me, it's not for me. When in fact, you just need to be very well aware of the board and yourself. You need to be protected, so you won't fall and hurt yourself, break a leg, break a wrist or something like that. And so yeah, always wear safety gear. And two more very important pieces of safety gear that I always carry with me, even though most of the times I don't need them at all, is a flashlight to carry around, point at stuff, especially if you like night riding. That's mandatory, a flashlight, and also a reflective vest. I know nobody likes wearing a reflective vest, they don't look cool, I know, but you know, it's important, man. It's important that you're providing safety not only for yourself but for others, because if you like city riding at night, it's super important, because if there's a car that comes around, you're all dressed in black in the middle of the night with just the one wheel light, the car might not see you, and some accidents might happen because of that. So you need to be aware that your safety is not only dependent on yourself, it's dependent on others as well that are around you. And that's gonna tie into my next point, but before that, I just want to say that the flashlight, it's very important. If you ride a pint, then I don't even know, if you ride a pint at night and you don't have a flashlight, man, I don't know what you're doing, because the light on the pint is just, it's so bad. I mean, it's barely not having a light at all. The backlight, yeah, but the tail light, it's okay, but the headlights on the pint, trust me, it doesn't give you any light to see what you're actually gonna go through, because sometimes at night, another thing that's very dangerous is holes that you don't see because it's dark. So a flashlight lets you always see a few meters ahead of you. And on the Onewheel XR, this one, my headlights are they just broke, you know, they're not existent. They went for repairs, they fixed it along a bunch of stuff, but I pushed this board so hard that I broke it again. So for me, flashlight is mandatory in my backpack, always. Life vest, always. Helmet, wrist guards, always. Knee and shoulder and elbow pads, very important as well. And yeah, keep yourself safe, ride safe, and yeah, have fun. Let's move on. Awareness. Yes, awareness is number 2 on the list of tips that I have to give you today. And you need to be aware of your surroundings, you know, and that ties in well with tip number 1, which is safety. Now, safety and being aware is a way that you can be safe, you know, like I said before, wearing a reflective vest and a flashlight is a way that you're aware of your surroundings, and your surroundings are aware of you. You know, other people are aware of you because they see something, they see light. So it's a way to keep you safe as well. And awareness is very important in every ride, because you need to know what's around you. If you're riding trails, awareness is very important, just because you need to see if there's some other runners coming around, people riding bikes, people riding horses, people just walking in general. And if you're riding roads, you need to be aware of the cars, obviously, and that's very, very important. And that also ties in with my next tip, which is roads versus trails. Riding roads and riding trails, they have similarities, but they're very different. And in terms of awareness, riding roads, you need to be constantly aware of what's behind you. You know, cars come all the time, motorcycles, cyclists just speeding past you, and you need to be very aware of that. I know it's super fun to put some headphones in, jam some music, dance around while you ride. I do that all the time, but please do not cover both your ears with some headphones, because you're not going to be able to hear what's around you. And you know, there might be a car passing by and you don't hear it, and you go a little bit inside of the road, and that can be very, very dangerous. So be aware of what's behind you when riding roads. When riding trails, it's a bit of an opposite. You don't really need to be very aware of what's behind you, but you need to be very, very aware of what's in front of you, because poles, roots, cyclists, runners, horses, dogs, you know, there's a lot of possibilities on the trails. So you need to be constantly aware of that. And yeah, that's my tip number 2 and 3, awareness and roads versus trails. Let's move on. And another quick thing that I forgot to mention about that music aspect of riding and flowing with the vibe of some music. I have a speaker on my backpack. I don't know if you can see it, this right here. And I use it to listen to music all the time when riding. But don't be that guy that's just with the speaker just booming with the music as loud as you possibly can, because it's for you. It's not for everybody else. The music is for you to flow and for you to just have fun, not for, you know, everybody else. If you're on the trail that's completely deserted, yeah, I also pumped that shit to the max, but you know, be aware. All right, let's move on. probably was a shitty recording, right? Sorry, very hard trail. Tires. Yes. I mean, at the same time, tires is one of those things that there's a lot to talk about and there's not a lot to talk about. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, if you're a beginner, you shouldn't worry about tires. You know, just go with the Vega. You can't go wrong with the Vega. Just, you know, wear it out. I only changed my first tire, the Vega, that the Onewheel came at, I think, around 3,000 kilometers. So the tire, you know, it was pretty messed up already, especially for riding trails. And the tire after that, I changed after, it was a Hosier threaded. I think it was around when it had 4,000 kilometers, so at around 7,000 kilometers on my board, I changed the tire again. Right now, the tire that I have, it's a Buris threaded, really cool tire. The tire that the crew from the Foot Life used. And so far, I'm really digging this tire. And it has a couple thousand kilometers on it. I think 3,000 already. No, maybe two, whatever, it doesn't matter. The thing is, with tires, they're gonna completely change the way you ride. And if you prefer to ride roads, obviously go with the slick tire. If you prefer to ride trails, obviously go with the threaded. I mean, I have threaded because this is, I mean, probably around 70% of what I ride are trails. And when I'm going out to explore, you know, when I go from home to work, I guess that counts a lot, but it's just commuting. You know, when I go out to ride and have fun, trails all the time. And for me, threaded tire is the best. If you want to change your tire, I guess you could go for a slick tire at first, but a more rounded one, like the, you know, the Hosier or the Whisper from the Flat Fins guys. I haven't tried that one yet, but I've heard really good things about it from some riders in our Portuguese community. And yeah, I mean, there's not much to say, you know. Obviously the tires, there's the pressure. I guess I could talk a little bit about that. You know, the pressure is like, if you ride with low PSI, you're gonna be more carve. You're gonna have more carvability on your board, and you're gonna be able to go through sand like that. But you're gonna run down the battery faster. You know, if you have a higher PSI, the battery is gonna last you a lot longer, and that's especially if you have a higher PSI on a slick tire, then your battery is gonna last much more than low PSI on a threaded tire. Yeah, the battery is not gonna last the full mileage that it should. And you know, the tire is very difficult to give tips because it's a very personal experience. You know, what I would advise you to do is try out, you know, do a couple thousand kilometers with the tire, really wear the tire, because once I got this Buris tire, I fucking hated it, man. Oh my god, I hated it so much. I immediately wanted to switch it back. But because with the Hosier I had much more carvability because the tire was worn out and it was more rounded and everything. But now this tire, I still feel it's not as round. I might be wrong, but that's how I feel. I don't really remember the Hosier that much, so but now I'm loving this tire, man. I'm absolutely loving it. So try out new tires, and you know, a very good thing that you can do is just ask another one-wheeler with a different tire for you to try out the board. You know, go for a ride and ask him if he could borrow you his one wheel for the whole ride, you know, so you can, you know, get used to a different tire before making the investment to buy it. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it on the tires. Let's move on. Oh, fuck yeah. It's all about style, man. That's my next tip, riding style. Find your own riding style. That's pretty much what this tip sums to. And by that, I mean your foot placement. That's the most important thing, you know, because your foot placement is what's gonna you know, it's what's gonna influence your riding style and what's gonna make you ride one way or the other. So foot placement is very important. At first, I always advise people to keep their both feet just straight up, you know, like you were riding a V1, because a V1, one wheel V1, the sensor was just this size of where my foot is placed right there, so you had to ride it like that. And you know, that's a good stance, I'd say, just for a few minutes, you know, just so you can, you know, feel the board balance you one way, the other, go a bit to one side, go back to the other side, get used to that movement. And from there, then it's all up to you. I mean, I personally ride with both my feet at an angle like that. It's more comfortable for me. That's how I ride most of the times. Sometimes when I want to go very fast, I'm late for something, I don't tend to go very fast with this board. You know, I've reached my top speed is 40 kilometers an hour, which is very, very fast, but I rarely pass the pushback point, which is 25. Sometimes I mostly go to 30 kilometers an hour, but for me this board, it's, you know, it's all about style, man. It's all about going around, carving, having fun, and yeah, that's what this sport is all about. So as I was saying, if I want to go faster, I'll put both my feet more close to the wheel. That allows you to put more weight to the front of the wheel, and that makes you go faster. But do it at your own risk, okay? I'm not responsible for your injuries. So yeah, some people ride with their feet different directions, pointing different directions, like this. Some people, like me, ride like this. Some people ride like this. You know, it's all about finding your style, and that's it. That's my tip for you guys. Number 5 or 6, I don't even remember at this point. It took so long to film this fucking intro. It was bright, the sun was bright, and it's almost dark now, so I won't have much time to record the rest. Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on. Yes, that is the big one, right? Nosedives. The thing that scares the most people when riding, when first starting out, especially because if you're just starting out, you just order your board and you don't even have it, you start watching a bunch of videos and you hear about the nosedive. And what exactly is the nosedive? The nosedive is when, you know, the nose of the board dives and you just spit right off the board and into the ground. So again, safety is very important. And if you're wondering how to avoid a nosedive, that's exactly what I'm going to tell you. So the most important thing to avoid a nosedive is to not lean when accelerating. So let's say, for example, like this. Let me stop the board like this. Imagine that there's a straight line that goes from the center of the wheel and it's just perpendicular with the floor and just straight up. Imagine there's a line right here from the center of the wheel. That line has to be centered with my body, you know. My head is in this line, so if I lean to accelerate, my head is no longer on that line, and that is a big risk for a nosedive. So always picture a line right here that goes straight up into the sky, and your center of gravity of your own body needs to be always on that line. I mean, once you get more experience, you're gonna be able to accelerate a bit more with your body, backwards and forwards. But if you're just starting out, and that is very important, because sorry, because at first, when you're just starting out, the first year is the worst because you're not understanding the board that well, like once you get 2-3 years into it. So that's when the worst falls are gonna happen. Is within the first year of riding, and avoiding nosedive is a big big help. If you know how to avoid it, you're gonna be safe a lot of the times. You know, you're gonna avoid certain falls that you would not be able to avoid if you didn't know how to avoid the nosedive. Because another way to explain this is, let's say the board has two main two primary focuses. That's the board has is those are balance and speed. Okay, those are the two main things the board has. The board needs to think about those two things constantly. And the board, once the motor goes beyond its capabilities, it's gonna have to choose one of those two to focus on and let go of the other, so the motor doesn't get damaged, you know, doesn't start burning or whatever. I don't know the science behind that. I'm not a mechanical engineer or anything like that. It's just my understanding of the board. So the board has two primary focuses: speed, balance, you know. So if you push the motor past the limit, which is accelerating like this, and the board keeps going faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, you go way past pushback, and the board's gonna have to focus on the speed, but it will lose the balance. It will forfeit the balance to maintain the speed. So you just lose balance and you fall into the ground. The board falls into the ground and you just go spit as fast as you're riding right off. And trust me on that one, I have felt like this. My arm, my left arm, it's like from here to here, burned. You know, I have a huge burn on my arm because I've nosedived. It was in my first year. I have scars over here on my hip, on my elbows, a lot of them, on my knees. I'm completely scarred because of the one wheel, but that's I mean, for me, that's part of it. And with every fall you learn something, and here hopefully you take something out of this these tips that I'm giving you, so you don't have big falls like I have. Because, you know, especially if you're just starting out, that is very, very discouraging to get on the board again. And yeah, we don't like that. We don't want you to stop riding one wheel, because it's so much fun, and once you really get used to it. So yeah, that is how to avoid nosedive. So that's it, let's move on. Shit! God damn! Apologize if some of these downhills were very poorly recorded, because it's super hard. I fell a couple times on this one. Man, it is just brutal, some of these, man. All right, well, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. For, you know, hopefully you'll get something out of this video. And please, if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments so I can answer them as best as I can. And, you know, if you're ever in Portugal, let me know. We'll ride around. If you want to come here, ride these trails, please come here. It's so fun, and I don't have many chances to ride with other people here. And that's it, man. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, all that shit, if you find it useful. And, you know, if there's something else you want to add on some of the tips that I gave, feel free to say it in the comments. If you disagree with something, please let me know, because I really enjoy learning about different perspectives on the same matter. And, you know, that's pretty much how you get more knowledgeable and that's how you learn. So at the beach, staying here for a few minutes before the sun sets, and that's it. Same spot as the previous video. Take care, guys. Peace.